Hey folks, Troy Dooley, the Beachside CEO, and when I shot this video and I'm looking at my background, I'm thinking of a text I got the other day where somebody told me that I was too patriotic. I shouldn't have the American flag up, and I have white power tattoos, and it's like, Lord, I can't win for losing sometimes. I do want to hit something here. This video could go 15, 20 minutes. I'm not going to rabbit trail. I'm going to try to just stay to the highlights. So I want you to know that. Some of you will say, Troy, I'm not watching your video because it's a conflict of interest. I'm going to be talking about Dave Johnson and Doug Dickey, who have joined one of my clients recently. And I'm going to talk about a cease and desist that they got from Trey Knight, Haskell Knight's company, Navan Global. This is not about Navan Global, the community over there. There are some phenomenal people over there that are just so passionate. They love how the products have changed their lives. Some of them have actually met their current significant other over there. So those are some awesome stories. But this is about the lack of transparency and integrity of a founder and what he's doing to two individuals by having his legal team send them cease and desist. So I'm going to talk about that. I didn't think I was going to cover the Trey Knight saga until towards the end of the trial. Now it could be 2023 before this trial ever really gets started. Right now it's still in the preliminary measures. Matter of fact, one thing I will cover is Federal Rule 404B, and that is something that is taking place right now. Most of you do not understand. Just you don't have a need to. It's not because you're not intelligent. It's just because you don't need to know what the laws are. Most people don't. But when you look at 404B, or Rule 404 itself is about character evidence, other crimes, wrongs, and acts. 404B talks about what can be permitted or not permitted under other crimes, wrongs, and acts. What is prohibited is evidence of any other crime, wrong, or act that is to prove a person's character in order to show that on a particular occasion, meaning the current crime, purported crime, that the person acted in accordance with his character or her character, whatever the case. What is permitted, now, what isn't permitted is what the defense, that's what Trey Knight's attorneys are saying. Nope, you can't bring this in. You can't show his character. Has nothing to do with his character. Even though you've put stuff in there from 2004 to 2014, you can't do that. Now, what the prosecutor is saying is, oh, yes, we can, because this evidence may be admissible for other purposes, such as to prove motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, planning, knowledge, identity, absence of mistake, or a lack of evidence. What the prosecutor is trying to show is that for at least 10 years, Trey Knight honed his craft at manipulation, and that in 2021, the charges that we have filed for wire fraud, other frauds, and conspiracy was done basically with malice. He knew exactly what he was doing. So that's where the fight's at. We just didn't care. Trey Knight, after my first video, did reach out to me, and I want to make this very clear. Excellent message, Troy. Why didn't you come to me? Why didn't you get the truth? Why didn't you get all the facts? And I wrote Trey back and made it very clear. This is a criminal case. In a criminal case, anything that he says to me can be used against him. The only time that wouldn't be true is if I was working for his attorneys and he could invoke client privilege. And that has not happened. I do that from time to time. I have worked. Regulators know this. So I said, Trey, I just went with the facts, and it wasn't really about you. It was about how does stuff like this happen. Today, it's kind of the same thing, except now I'm a little bit pissed because what Trey Knight has just had his corporate attorneys do to Dave Johnson and Doug Dickey is a pain in my butt because he had them get cease and desist. Now, because this is a criminal case, we're not going to dig deep into the case itself. The only other criminal case I think we've covered was Claire Bronfman and Keith Rainier's, and their company was, I'm going to say it wrong, Nexium, And it was, I mean, for almost 15 years, what the courts found, the criminal courts found, was that they were running an international sex trafficking organization. And the precept of the company was a personal development to help empower women. And they didn't empower women, they hurt women, some of them even underage. Sadly, if you were on the inside circle, then you got branded as one of Keith's sex slaves or whatever that is they were doing. Kind of reminds me of the Yellowstone TV series with Kevin Costner where they brand certain people. And that's what they did. And that's the only other criminal case we've really covered, because most cases are never criminal. They're just civil. And it's like we want to look at certain situations. And in this case here, today is about Trey Knight's and Navan Global's bullying tactics, hypocritical tactics of sending cease and desist to Dave Johnson and Doug Dickey. Now, Dave Johnson, for you guys that are not part of maybe the upper echelons of network marketing, direct sales, or you've not been part of Nikon, which is an international just huge company that's into magnets, then you might not know his name. But Dave was the first, I believe they're called royal ambassadors. He joined that company way back in the 20th century and grew the largest organization there. And then a few years ago ended up with lesions on his prostate and went on a quest not to have surgery, not to have radiation. He really wanted to use a naturopathic way of taking care of his body. And that's what he did. And then when he got ready to build again, had the opportunity to go to Navan Global. And from everything that I have seen, really thought they had a product that could just change people's lives. And I believe, based on the stories of people that are in Navan Global, I think the product is a sound product. I think it's phenomenal. I think it changes people's lives. But where the issue came down is after Trey Knight's purported improprieties came out publicly, newspapers, the criminal courts, I've covered it. These two individuals, and maybe some others, had to sit down with their families and their closest allies and say, look, this has to do with reputational risk. This has to do with the influence that we have. We don't know Trey Knight. Do we stay here and go down with the ship, not knowing what's going to go on, not knowing if the strategic partners are going to say, until this is settled, there's just certain things we aren't going to do. They didn't know. So they made a decision, and that's when they went and they found a new company, which happens to be a client of mine. Like I said, I'm not going to name the client name. But then all of a sudden they get cease and desist. Now, see, here's where I say this is hypocritical. Trey Knight has been a high-level rep with some of my other clients. And when he left and he started taking his team with him and he started coming back in and my client said raiding their company, okay, that's the term inside the profession, he got a cease and desist and he hated that. Why can't we just be free to leave? Why? We're independent professionals. We're independent contractors. We should have a right. We're nothing but glorified employees. And he actually made some promises to people that Navan Global was different. Let me read to you about their About Us page so that you can see what I'm saying. And this is where I wish attorneys would go and look at their clients' websites and say, we cease and desist. You sure you want to go down this path? Here it says, we're on a mission. We have an obsessive enthusiasm for one thing, changing people for the better. We hold a deep sense of responsibility to create a sustainable company that empowers people for success, one that people can trust, to be ethical and transparent. Now, maybe they just mean the company, not the company founders. I don't know. To stay true to who we are, every company decision is based on these guiding principles. What we say is what we do. Doing right is the only option. People and their success are our first priority. Positively impact every person we come in contact with. Community is our culture. Now that's the mission. Let's scroll on down. The vision. If you want the truth, it's easier to be a distributor than it is to start a network marketing company. But sometimes the easy road isn't what you're called to do. After 12 years in the industry, we became disenchanted with the status quo. We were tired of seeing good people who were trying to improve their lives be taken advantage of. When we could no longer find a company we trusted to build a team with, we knew it was time to fix the problem and create our own. Well, it goes on. Well, let me read it. This is a quote. We were asked, why are you doing this? And the answer is simple, because we can. Success for us is defined by how many people are better off because we are here. The bar has been set so low in network marketing that companies have lost sight of the real reason they exist. At Navan, we're raising the bar. We've created a community that will support you and a culture that breathes excitement and hopes for your future. People are searching for more. We are opening the door and pouring hope on their dreams. Now, Dave Johnson, Doug Dickey decide after everything that's transpired, and it's not just Trey. Trey Knight went and cut some deals with New Age. It's on the websites that we've got all this. You know, he's looking for. He took money. I mean, millions. So he was already looking status quo. He was trying to sell off the company or do something with the database. And then all of a sudden, a grand jury hands down an indictment for wire fraud, other fraudulent activities, and conspiracy to commit fraud. And then you look at the mission and the vision of the company. And there are some, like I said, great people at Navan Global. The community that are there has got some awesome folks. But these two individuals, maybe others, made a decision. We can't do this. We can't take the risk with all of our families. We can't take the risk with the influence and the people that rely on us. We have to go do something different, or we got to get out of the business. And then Trey Knight, who doesn't want to be the status quo, doesn't want to be part of the low standard of network marketing, has his attorneys send cease and desist. And part of the cease and desist says you can't disparage the company or the founder of the company. Well, hello. If the public record says, hey, you potentially are an ass, then guess what? It's public record. It's not disparaging comments. That's already out there on the internet. That's already in newspapers. That's already on websites. If you want to be a founder of a company where you use the words transparency, ethics, trust, you want to set the new status quo, then you best be looking in a mirror. See, I don't come at this like I'm some preachy dude. Look, I've been charged with assault with a deadly weapon with the intent to kill. I've been charged with what were we felony charges on? Political corruption, okay? Attempted vehicular homicide. No convictions. Matter of fact, the sheriff and some of the judges, they ended up going away. I have not hidden from any of that. I don't hide from the fact that my oldest son is classified a career criminal because of all of his prison time that he served. I don't hide the fact that my middle boy, who I love to death, has had addictive issues and was on life support. I don't hide the fact that my younger adult son is now serving a 5-year term in prison. Sadly, assault with a deadly weapon. I don't hide any of that. Have I used the? You bet. My youngest son. I mean, I took my young adult son all the way to the steps of the Supreme Court before we had to make the financial decision that I can't do it anymore. I've already spent hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm not saying Trey Knight is guilty. I'm saying that the individuals in his company, based on what's happened, based on his track record, they have the right to decide what's good for them. And the attorneys, I would challenge the legal eagles that make network marketing their bread and butter. I would challenge you guys to redo your policies and procedures and your terms and conditions, because we live in the 21st century. Network marketing, no matter what the numbers say, hasn't been on a big rise. If you look at the 2000 to 2021, we are still below where we were at. And the reason is there's other income opportunities that take less headache. You don't have to be babysitting down lines. You don't have to worry about people leaving. You don't have to worry about people going. You can go out there and become a pretty good influencer on your own, and companies will want you to move their products. People market several different products. So why don't we really go out there and do what we say we want to do and help the people? Let's make products that help people. And then if you make the best product in your class, in your category, guess what? People are going to sell that product. They may sell another product because you're not making it. Who cares? But when you come across acting hypocritical, when you want to say, well, Troy, can you do a review on me because Gary Racer over at Limu is coming after me because I decided to leave? No. But now you're going after your people for the same thing? What the heck is this? When you're out there trying to cut a backdoor deal with New Age to do something with your database, and yet on your website you say, we're here to set a new standard. I don't see that. That's what's wrong. So I don't care if Trey Knight goes to prison. I don't care if he gets off. What I do care about is Trey Knight and other founders, stop using BS just to attract people to your company. If you want to be transparent, if you want to be real, then just share it all and let somebody decide, do we want to be part of this or not? Man, Trey's got some blemishes on him, guys, but so do we, so let's just go for it. That's what you do. You don't go after people using the pretense of your website, because right here, I tell you what, if they come to me and say, Troy, we need an attorney, the attorney is going to look at the website and say, look, looks like to me they violated the doggone agreement before you guys did. So let's take this to trial. Let's go on and let's go to court. If they don't want to settle, we'll just take it all the way. Because on the website, it says Navan Global is different. But yet in the cease and desist, it says they're the same. Now you be the decision maker on that one there. Either we're going to rise above it or we're not. And hopefully we won't be doing anything else on Trey Knight or Navan Global, but we will continue to cover cease and desist that are just not, I mean, there's some, guys, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've got clients we've looked at and said, man, you need to go after these people. They literally are raiding. They're doing bad things. That happens, but just a fraction of the time. And when you've gotten your little influence and you've said, come over here and this is going to be your home and let's bring your people and we'll give you all the support you need. And then you want to send a cease and desist. You want them, shh, don't say anything. You can leave, but you can't say nothing. Yeah, that's hypocritical. Don't talk to me about wanting to set new standards when you're part of the problem. Live life like it's an epic adventure. Stay dangerous, stay strong. And if you're in network marketing, then act like it.